Okay, what's going on? Yes, I'm back, you feel me? The name's 16. Yes, sir, today, before, I'm gonna put on my shades, you feel me? I brought the shades along. Yeah, let me just show you, let me see me. See, these ones I got at Hill Fox, if you know Hill Fox. China market, 30 Rand. So, yeah, that was a deal. But ever since having these are proper, even though they're cheap. I'm looking to get, more expensive ones. Okay, but I'm coming to you today to share my testimony and to just tell all things about lean. Lean is a cough mixture. Still pain is one of them. Salter pain is another. Then you get Benylin with codeine. Get expectorant, if I am not wrong. Yeah, so all things lean, you feel me? My testimony, what I went through. So, to start it off, me and lean, we go way back, I won't lie. Like, hey, way back. So, I remember, I don't remember how I first started drinking, like who I had my first experience with, who I had my first cup, but way back, like high school days, I think that's when I started, or I at least experimented with it, because it was an in thing, I won't lie. So that is where I got my first taste of lean. Nothing serious, just try it out, couple sips. Plus, with lean, it's not alcohol, it's not intoxic. It doesn't intoxicate you. So it's like just, and also like you need, some people it's a lot, some people it's a little, but you need like a certain amount to feel it. So if you just take a few sips, I don't believe it'll make such a huge difference, enough for you to come back like the next day, like for it to get you hooked basically. So yeah, I was surrounded by brothers. Brother was younger than me, I remember, but yeah, he was mostly on the lean before me, you feel me? I joined late, I won't lie. But yeah, I remember, even though this period I'm gonna talk about, this was when I really got into it, was college days. But I remember when I'm looking back that, man, I remember in high school there was a time I had brought it to school. I don't know how I got it in, because like with the lean, you mix it obviously with Sprite, a cool drink, or juice, but yeah, like I don't know how I got it into school, but I remember one of the homies, Suping, he knows himself, but yeah, one of the homies, I remember giving him, yeah, and it was in a Stony, if I'm not wrong. I remember giving him a taste out of lean, yeah, then, because he normally stood at the back, then he slept like almost the whole lesson, and he didn't have much. So that's when I saw that, hey, with some other brothers you need a little, with some others you need a lot. Okay, but my experience is gonna be a long video. Starts when I went to college. So I went to City Varsity, it was in Braamfontein. So I remember first experience encountering it, college days, was when you had gone to a certain, it's like a park, you feel me, with the homies from my college. So we were all new at the time. We didn't know each other. Maybe some other brothers knew each other. But as for me, I didn't know the brothers. So we're chilling, but we didn't really know each other. But we all went as a group to that certain park, you feel me. But yeah, one thing is we went to go to smoke, to blaze, because I was blazing. So, and they also blazed, like, the brothers blazed. So yeah, I went to blaze. Then I ran into two brothers, man. Two brothers. from another college, and they had lean, you feel me? They had the cups, they had the 2 liter out. So me already having experience, I went up to the brothers. I was like, "Hey, oh, can I get a cup?" You feel me? Yeah, can I get some? And brothers weren't greedy. I expected them to have like a bit of a, man, who is this brother, man? You feel me? But yeah, brothers weren't greedy. They gave me some. I sipped. But yeah, I also didn't sip a lot. But everything all good. Let me just say I went home. I think it was the next day, if I'm not wrong. Went to this park again because it was like a usual chill spot. A lot of, college students circulated. So I went to this park again. Now I ran into another homie. Now this homie was younger than me. His name is Bull, but the Zulu translation for Bull. Yeah, so the homie was sipping. He was alone, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, I approached the homie like, "Hey, homie, where'd you get?" Because I'm also trying to get me some. He's like, "Oh, you get it right here by this pharmacy." And at that time, I was still afraid, to go in and ask for myself. I think also that fear I won't lie came from knowing that, because it's knowing that it ain't right. Because if you've ever tried to buy lean before, like it's a process going in, saying, "Hey, can I get salsa pig?" Some people ask you what you need it for. Some, it's an easy process. But yeah, I had the fear. But yeah, I just said, "Hey, homie, so please go buy for me rather. I have the money here. I just go in for me. Me, I ain't trying to go in." So the brother's like, "Sweet," he went in like it was nothing. Popped in and out. He came out with the lean, obviously, you feel me. He came out with the drink. All is good. I had then I bought a 2 liter that same day. I don't remember who I sipped it with. Okay, but then that's when I realized, okay, this pharmacy sells. Okay, then I started getting into it, you feel me? I started buying there, but also there, you can't go every day. So I started buying. I'd always, I'm getting into it. Then okay, I kind of got distracted, my bad. But yeah, then in me wanted to do more, you feel me? Because I knew this thing, so I wanted to go deeper. So then I remember looking for another store. Then I found one also, And that store, okay, was scary going in, but I found another. You feel me? I found it and I asked, they sold, I had no stress. Okay, but fast forward, like, there was a decision I had to make because, I was like, I really want this thing. I won't lie, I really want the lean. So, you know what? If I really want this thing, I'm gonna have to, approach different stores. Because what still had hit me is the fear of being rejected. Being like, "Nah, what you want lean for? This or you drink lean." I had that fear. It's like a false fear because I never ran into an encounter like that. But this false fear, so I was kind of scared. So I sat down, I made a decision, like, now I'm about to pursue this thing. Also, I won't lie, at that time, and I'm reading this book now, it's crazy. Like, now I'm using this knowledge obviously for better. But at that time, I was reading Psycho-Cybernetics. So it talks about basically how your subconscious is a servo mechanism. So whatever goal you want, you place it in your mind in terms of pictures, and it goes to work and it directs you basically to an end result where you can find what you're looking for, or to just basically get closer to what you want, what your imagination longs for. So I remember about that time I was reading this book, But also part of it had to do with, I wanted a lot of girls, if a lot of sisters. But yeah, like ended up using that knowledge for the lean. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a taxi to Jozi, you feel me? And I'm gonna walk around and actually look for the stores. Like, I don't care. I'm about to look for what I want. My subconscious is gonna guide me, and I'll find it. I believed I would. So that's exactly what I did, you feel me? So I got into a taxi. I went to Jozi, you feel me? Yeah, I went there to Jozi. I basically, man, I searched. Like, I didn't have fear, man. I searched. I went from pharmacy to pharmacy. Then I eventually ended up finding stores. It wasn't all in the same day, but yeah, I found what I was looking for, And yeah, one thing I have to add, it taught me, they call it, or I've heard it being called the numbers game. So basically, if you want a job, you're gonna have to apply to a lot of jobs. Then out of that, maybe let's say you apply to 10 jobs, then out of that 10, maybe you'll get 1 or 2 interviews, you feel me? So that's also what I had learned through the lean. And I'm gonna add a Bible verse, Romans 8 verse 28, which says, all things work for good for those, all things work together for good for those who love God and are called according to his purpose, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, like, I'm using this as a testimony. That's what I saw through the lean, that if you really want something, you go for it. Then out of your head to approach a lot of stores, a lot. But although I received many no's, I received a lot of yeses. And so, in my finding, I found, if I can count the number of stores I could rely on, it's one. But it wasn't always as reliable, I won't lie. So it was a bit shaky, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I won't mention the 7th one because I won't lie, like, I went there first time they had, I was like, oh sweet, you feel me? I bought. When I kept coming back, they like never had after that, like, honestly, like, never. So it was disappointing, but I'd still try, Yeah, so like 6 stores I could really count on. Yeah, so then that's where it took off. Like, I just started pursuing, I'd buy. And I had made previously a video about this, but I didn't complete it. But yeah, one thing I had said in the video is, you see people do things, then you learn from them. So there's this one store that, like, I found after the one booth showed me. I went to another pharmacy. I kept calling it a store, but pharmacy. So then there's this one pharmacy where I'd only buy one, I was still amateur, I must say. Yeah, so I'm in line. There's a sister about my age, could tell she's also in college. Yeah, she gets up there, to the front, like, hey, can I get 3? I'm like, yeah, 3, you feel me? Yeah, then they gave it to her, no problem, she paid. I'm like, oh, okay. So you see, seeing that, it changed me, because then that same day, if I'm not wrong, I bought 2, and it was possible. So then, most of the stores, I was buying 2. I never, but yeah, I remember also buying 3 at a time, but 2, 3, that was me, you feel me? And that's how they were selling them. So easy, like, no prescription. I came across one store though in my search. So yeah, I had asked for the lean, and so basically what I drank was Still Pain, Seltzer Pain. Yeah, I was deep in those, and those were like, that was me. All the others I tried, like, okay, I never tried Expectorant, if I'm not wrong. Benylin with codeine, I was like, nah, it ain't the one. Then there's this other one I had tried, and it was expensive, more than the normal price. And you know, like, it was, what it did to my stomach, like the feeling. That's when I saw, I was like, nah, this ain't the one. Plus, like, there's a place where I used to drink it at. I remember I drank. And you know, like, although it was, because you never, it's only after that you feel the effects of the lean. But yeah, I drank. And I was like, nah, man, this is not the one. Then I poured it out. Then you could have seen the ants that were like surrounding the lean. Like, it just made me think, like, is this what I'm really doing to my body? It felt like I was killing it, honestly. So yeah, I stick to two: salt pain, still pain. Yeah, so yeah, that was me. I was pursuing. So I, God bless my father. He's resting. He's resting now. Passed away. But yeah, he used to give me an allowance, and he did it out of love. I always think, love. Plus I was in college. So then, yeah, like, I used to spend it recklessly, man. So my thing was, then I used to go now and buy lean. So I'd go on a specific day, like maybe Monday I go, I take the money that I have with me. Then that day I buy maybe like 4 or 5. I couldn't spend all my money on it, because also I've realized in my journey, I wasn't just leaning. Like, for me, it didn't give me that high. I was always leaning and smoking, you feel me? Like, you had to do both. So I don't remember a stage where I just lean, like, so always me, it was both. It was the high of both that I was chasing, and not just the lean high. Although you could sip and feel, nice. But yeah, me, I was always leaning and smoking. So I'd, go buy both. And I'd come stock up, like, in my cupboard. My mom never saw. And also, like, some advice while saying this is, if you see something, call it out. Because I remember I used to, when I was quite deep, I used to bring now bottles home, of like 2-liter Tropica mixed with the lean. Then my mom would always ask me, like, so you just drink a whole 2-liter by yourself? I'm like, yeah. But you see, she never called it out. So that's why I continued until, by the grace of God, like, I stopped. Yeah, so yeah, like, I was deep, man. Like, I was sipping almost every day, smoking every day. Yeah, there was like this high that I was chasing. Yeah, then just a couple points around the leaning. So yeah, then I remember got to a point, because now I was bringing it into the college, you feel me? Because they used to check our bags before we get into the college. Yeah, so yeah, like, because they also, I liked, before I won't lie, wait, let me do this. Yeah, I won't lie, like, before I started sipping it with Sprite, then I stopped sipping it with Sprite because I saw it jumpy side, you feel me? It was too visible. And that's one thing, like, when you're sipping, you don't want it to be visible, because people catch on and all. So then, yeah, I went from Sprite to Fanta Grape. That was perfect, for drinking it. But problem with Fanta Grape, you can still tell, because once you pour, and plus, how I used to drink it was, I used to pour, obviously you get your cold drink, your juice, you pour a little out, then you pour your whole still pain or salsa pain in. So like a bottle, I was drinking a whole bottle. Most of the time by myself, like, Lord knows how much lean I've ran through. And this is a testimony, like, Lord bless, bless the Lord. He is blessed forever. He was able to quicken my body. But, yeah, I did damage, you feel me? But I'm still living by the grace of God. So that's why I'm sharing this testimony. But yeah, Fanta grape, it became very dark. Yeah, what's also crazy is, this is all over the place. It's a freestyle, but yeah, what's crazy is, so I used to pour the lean in such a way where you have to pour weight, because as soon as you pour, like, especially in the cool drink, it comes up, like it basically erupts. You feel me? So until I ran into a video, they were like, man. Oh, I don't know, it was a video or someone was like, hey, you guys are still amateurs, man. Pouring lean straight, like, don't you know you have to tilt it a bit? So I got to a point where I could, because, like, in pouring out the cool drink, you had to pour out quite some cool drink, either drink it, but then if you're sipping a whole 2 liter, it's sipping, the amount that you could pour out, and still sipping the whole 2 liter would make you full, man. Like, oh. So, like, I used to pour it out, but until it got to a stage where I used to pour it a little. Then, you tilt the bottle a certain degree. You pour all the lean. So, yeah, like, levels. But, yeah, so I liked Fanta grape. But then it became too dark. You could see, like, nah, there's something here. And plus, it made bubbles, but, like, pink bubbles. And so whenever I was going into the college, because I started bringing it inside the college, man, I was sipping every day, man. Like, brothers knew, like, and yeah, just a quick, like, so eventually I dropped out of college, but that had nothing to do with the lean. Like, the course I really didn't enjoy, and there's no regrets, even though I wasted a lot of money. But yeah, the way I sipped so much, and I was also smoking, like, I went back, because besides the college, there was no reason for me to be in Brown. So I went back to Brown, like, much later, I think. I don't know what I was there for, but I ran into one of the homies from the college, like, oh, dudes, I thought you were dead. I was like, what? I was like, damn, that's deep, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so the Fanta grape was a problem when I had to go past security, because, they're like, they look at the bottle like, huh? Nah, there's something here, you feel me? So I eventually also, because, bringing in a whole 2 liter, it's like, what you doing with the 2 liter? You feel me? So eventually, that was bad. I ended up, capping, saying, I have a sugar problem, I need sugar. Like, that's how far, like, I had to take it. But then I started bringing the bottles in. I was sipping during class, man, and I was sipping. What even made it deeper is, also, I won't lie, what you listen to goes along with how you act and everything. So if you're a Christian, or just one thing, if you want to change habits, look at the music you listen to and regulate it, all the things that do not align with who you're trying to become, especially like with the music, like, cut it out. Because there was a song by Webby, and it's like, if you're a real sipper, you have lean right now. You have lean right now, not the exact words, but that's when I saw, I was like, and I remember it sparked something in my mind, like, I'm not a real sipper, even though I was sipping, like, something just like, you're not a real sipper. So it got me deeper, So okay, I drank with Sprite, cold drink, Stony, I won't lie, Stony did it. Fanta Orange, I never, Coke, I never drank. Then I switched up to juice, because I had, even though I knew that you could drink lean with juice, especially Tropica. That is the only juice I drank it with, Tropica, the different types of Tropica. But I knew this before, like, I got into lean heavy, but I never drank with the Tropica, But yeah, I eventually started getting into the juice, and that before I quit, I was just sipping with juice. Okay, I saw then taking down the window, you feel me? So yeah, I sipped. Yeah, yeah, I was deep, Then shout out, there's a homie, Peace. he used to, used to be homies. Then, like, he saw me sipping. It's like, but I also feel like it's out of love. You don't want to judge no one. So he was like, yeah, Doozy, I see that how you sipping. Just make sure you're not addicted. And I remember him saying that I was already in, but there was nothing I was gonna say to him like, dog, I'm already in, because I felt, the concern, the love. But yeah, I sipped, man, yo. Lord knows I sipped, yo. Like, even the homies from my complex, man, they can tell you, like, there's a story they always tell about. There was a time I came back, then I was standing. Then I almost folded, they say, like the way I was so tired, I folded, almost fell. Then before I fell, I was like, yeah, I caught myself. And they were laughing. Then they were like, we kept telling you, Doozy, why don't you sit down? You didn't want to sit down. I remember there was a time my cousin came over, you feel me, girl cousin, Lungile, you feel me? She told me, yeah, you opened the fridge, then out of nowhere you was sleeping. So, it was bad, like for many nights, come home, pass out. Like I was almost always passed out. Now, but I was chasing it, like, and I won't lie, when you're in, you're in. And I remember also the brother, Martin, we're not so close anymore, but I had a brother, I remember him saying, I just don't get it, like, and I was like, you don't understand, you feel me? But yeah, I was in deep. I sipped, throughout all my years of sipping, because I left this now in 2023. I'm turning 24. Started maybe when I was 19, first year of college, yes. So I left it when I was 22, 23. So that was 3 years sipping, Hey. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, throughout all my years, I never had problem with the police, like with them finding me with so many liens. They had never caught me. Where I had went to get a lien, like never a problem with a brother stopping me, being robbed. And just to think about it like that, like if the devil, I feel like, wants you to carry on something, he won't bother you. Like there's a brother I follow, Mark the Messenger, and he says the devil doesn't bother those who are not trying to live right. As soon as you repent, you want to start living right for God, that's when the spiritual warfare comes. And yeah, that's a testimony, because all my days on lean, man, like nope. Like obviously, I feel like every time I'd come home, because I used to catch a taxi to get the lean. So coming home with about, like maybe 3-4 leans, plenty of weed. Like, there was that fear that a police might just stop me. But besides that, like I never got caught, Maybe my mom knew, but she never confessed. And like parents, if you ever see this testimony of a parent, speak out, because although now you can say that, okay, I'm off it, but it would have been much better like if I got off the time before I had actually left, because honestly, for me to leave, it was a struggle, like, oof. Yeah, but okay, so just sharing more about lean. Yeah, I also wanted to get to a point, because with pharmacies, it's disappointing, man. Like, you can get to a pharmacy, they don't have stock, or I'm saying, they don't have stock, so you have to walk. So I wanted to get to a point where, like, I got it basically from someone who's just selling it on the street or without limit. I had watched a video where one homie, I think it was with a private camera or a hidden camera, he had purchased 17, you feel me, from a pharmacy. So that just goes to show that, like, people are out here. Like, I was buying them, as I said, by the 2s, by the 3s. Also, that girl, if it wasn't for her, I don't think I would have elevated like that. Recently, I was watching Moja Love, so they have a channel, or I don't know, like where they expose people, take them to jail for the crimes they are committing. So one homie was selling lean out his house. Basically, he had like a box. So if like I didn't stop, I won't lie, I would have eventually gotten to a point where I was buying it from someone now without number. Hey dog, and throughout the whole journey, I remember coming across, there's this one homie from the college. I won't mention his name, we weren't on good terms, but like, yeah, I remember he was telling a story that one of his homies, I think he was colored, he used to sip lean, like he passed away because of it. I remember just thinking like, what? Passed away? But I was like, not me, man. Still in my pride, in my ego, like, not me, but hey, rest in peace. I don't even know if he's resting in peace, honestly, but yeah, I'm just thankful to the Lord, he saved me. What else? Like, yeah, I also got to a point, but this is a combination of both the lean and the weed. I remember there's this one girl from college. City Varsity is the college I went to. But yeah, there's this one girl, so she was a year younger, if I'm not wrong. The way she looked, and I remember because, obviously, you come in the college, all the new faces. But then, so then the second year, her and, I'm saying, obviously new college people came through. And like, yeah, like, remember, like, so one thing the lean did, it made my eyes really red. Combination with the weed. But yeah, she was talking with the friends, like she probably didn't expect me to hear, but she was like, oh, he's always high. And that just sat with me. I was like, yeah, but I am, but yeah, I was in it. Yeah, so I'm thinking, what else can I share? Like, yeah, I was in deep, got to a point where I wanted to start drinking 2 bottles. Like, there was a day I did drink, I poured 2 bottles into the Sprite, but I was depressed. That's when I really wanted to leave the world. I wanted to die, I won't lie. Yeah, and like, thankfully it didn't affect me as much. You could feel though when I was drinking, I was like, oh, this is dangerous. But I didn't die, and that was the first and last time I drank 2 bottles. But yeah, I used to sip alone, man. Your homies know, man. Even I remember the one homie, Boaga, we're dissing each other. He made a joke. It's like, you probably have a lean on you right now, People were laughing. It was like a good joke. And I was like, eh. Like, and I didn't have a lean, if I'm not wrong. But like, that's the point where it got, like it just dominated. Okay, but besides that, and yeah, like, yeah, one thing I also have to share that's part of the testimony. Back in high school. So, if I'm not wrong, I had stolen. I can't say like I stole, but like, there was a brother Benji who always carried cookies with him. So, he always gave us cookies, but then the one day, he had left his bag and went. So then us, knowing that he always gives us cookies, we went in, we took cookies without asking. So he reported it, like, and they're like, yeah, you guys were stealing. I got, what is it, community service, I had to clean up. Yeah, so I think it was in the classes of community service. They gave us pages on addiction, the different stages of addiction. And close to the end, like when you really an addict, it was like you do this alone, so yeah, don't be surprised me taking down the window up and down. It keeps getting hot, So close to the end, there's a stage where you do these things alone, it takes up most of your time. But yeah, and that is true because I've seen that in my journey, not a lot of people were into it like me. So I'd be like to the homies, hey, let's go buy a bottle, Homies like, bottle? Like now I ain't feeling it for today. But because I had an addiction, man, I was like, alright, suit yourself. I'd go, you feel me? So yeah, you in it alone. No lie, you in it alone, you feel me? Yeah, although homies used to also ask, like, this was one thing that pissed me off. Homies didn't want to contribute, but they'd ask, can I get a sip? And then now I got to a point where, because I was deep, like now, it was like I needed this thing. So when I started saying no, they got so touched, like, really, just a sip? But, like, that's how it is. Like, hey. Okay, yeah, so, I also can't tell you how, like, I got out, But, I remember I started slowly but surely, I found the Lord. Then, I had started stopping. Then there was a night, like, I had went without the lean. Because, remember now, this was, like, every day, you feel me? So I had went without in my stomach. I can't describe the pain, guys. It's just like a certain part of my stomach was paining. Now I felt like I was gonna, now I won't be dramatic and say I felt like I was gonna die, but it felt so. I prayed, then I woke up okay the next day. And also one thing I saw that part that was painful was linked directly to I think like to describe the feeling, the pathway to where I pee, like, so like every time like I would stretch, like even standing up straight was crazy. So like in stretching you could feel that, hey, this can directly affect the way you pee, so it was crazy. But yeah, so I started slowly but surely letting go. And when I had let go, man, like the weird dreams were crazy. Like I think in my process, like maybe the following month or just almost every day, just having wet dreams. But now it's not like a wet dream where it's pleasure. Like in your dream, you have a dream maybe where you're sleeping with someone, or it's pleasure, you wake up with a wet dream. This is a wet dream where I'd go to sleep, wake up, it's just wet. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, next day it's wet. And now I'm not dreaming anything. So that's when I knew, I was like, oh. So this way I believe I was detoxing, or going through withdrawals. But yeah, like it got deep, man. Like, oh. But I'm thankful, like, because because I was on weed, lean, alcohol. Like there also came a point, like I was reckless, I won't lie. And that's what being in the world allows you to reckless. I take lean with Xanax. That's a story time for another day, but that was just once. But if I'm not wrong, I took it with the Xanax, Thankfully, nothing happened or nothing fatal. There's a time I mixed it with 1818 vodka. Yeah, then I remember that day I had mixed the lean and the vodka, and I was smoking. I met up with the homie and we're chilling. So in pouring up the concussion, you feel me? Yeah, so I was holding a cup. It really felt like I was holding it. Out of nowhere, the cup's on the floor. I'm like, yo. He's like, yo, homie, you're gone, you feel me? I was like, nah, I'm alright. But yeah, like, even lost grip. It was bad. But yeah, thankfully I went through a whole process of detoxing. And yeah, I was on the weed, the lean, alcohol. And I won't lie, lean was one of the things I'm grateful to God, is that when I had like finally let it go, it's one of the things I was able to let go and never go back to. Like I never wanted to go back to it. So yeah, that's basically my testimony. All about the lean. Like if there is more I want to add. But yeah, I don't know, like I think I've said it all. But yeah, parents, speak out if you see anything, suspicious. That also came to a time where I also kind of resented my mom. I won't lie, because I was like, also if I'm not wrong, the Bible talks about better you talk the truth opening it, better to talk the truth openly than concealing it in love. So yeah, I felt like this thing of not speaking up about it. So it caused all, like I could have been out, but I don't blame her. Everyone has their mistakes. Yeah, I was deep, like coming home with bottles, unfinished bottles, because of the, like, if I drink a 2 liter, so in going, obviously I have to bath and all. So bath, then by the time I get the lean, now it's midday, I start sipping, like I wasn't gonna finish it all. Plus it's a 2 liter by myself. I was also smoking. So I'd end up coming home with half, put it in the deep freezer. I wake up, on the way to college, I'm sipping. I get to a place, I smoke, I finish that lean. Probably I have a bottle that I took from home, or I'm gonna go buy, you carry on. Like, it's crazy, man. But I won't lie, like, whilst I was in it, oh yeah, also something like whilst I was in it, man, eyes were always red, always sleeping most of the time, tired always. There's even a point where I had sipped, coming with a home with a taxi, so this taxi, for example, this taxi that I used to take, it stops at Cresta, but I get off way before Cresta. So I had set Cresta, and normally I get off way before, so yeah, that day, like I got into the taxi, slept, when I wake up, I'm at Cresta, and like Cresta, and this is not the actual place where I get off with the taxi, I'm just saying, but Cresta was like a place I shouldn't have been. It's a long way from home. At time I didn't have money now to come back. I had to call my parents, like, yeah, I fell asleep. How did you fall asleep? It was like, there was times like, where I wanted to get the lean, because like pharmacies close at a certain time. Yeah, so times where I wanted to get the lean, I'd go without bathing, then I'd be in the taxi next to people that just look at me like, damn, I'm probably smelling, but I didn't care, like, oh, damn, it took me to another place, like, go. Yeah, also remembering, I probably didn't complete this, but yeah, there's a time in looking for the lean, I came across some store, some pharmacy. I was like, yeah, I'm looking for the lean. They're like, nah, we don't sell this lean, we discontinued it. Like, there's no place you're gonna get it, just forget, it's discontinued. Then I went from there, I went to another pharmacy, I found it. Like, man, brothers talking lies, man. Trying to get me to stop. But yeah, it was crazy, man. Like, I also in the lean journey, because you come across the same people who sell it to you. Like, you see the look of shame in their faces, like, man. No, but you get to a point where you don't care. And also, I don't blame them. They're just doing their job. Like, so also certain jobs, it must be rough doing it, because you can just see someone throwing their life away, you feel me? Like, I remember also there was a time I went to go buy at a certain pharmacy. The brother in front of me, he was my age. He was also buying lean. So yeah, he had bought 2. And yeah, just seeing like the condition he was in, like, he like probably buffed, you feel me? But I don't know, like, it was not a nice sight. But I was like, I'm also there for the same thing. And those things, they linger in your mind, because there's like, back then I wanted to get to a place where I was not sober. But obviously you're gonna be sober throughout, even if there's gonna be moments of being sober. But yeah, you just think back to these things, you're like, hey. Yeah, but thankful to our Lord Jesus Christ. He had gotten me out. Yeah, also advice, advice is just, you don't see how something harms you until you look back. Like, obviously, There might be people watching this who are currently on. Never know. Might be people who are on something different, weed, alcohol. Like, you only see after, you're like, damn. And that's one thing, that's what I don't want. Is like, although I am nice, I'm here, I'm in a better place, man. Like, all praises is like the damage. When you look back, you're like, damn, I did damage, like. But like, all things work for good. Yeah, and there's also, I remember there was a time we're chilling at like the same park where I told you I met Bo. Yeah, but this was like later, like where now I'm in deep in my journey, So yeah, like I remember there was this one sister, like she was also just there for the sake of being there. I don't know if she was smoking or not. But I was like, yeah, try. She's like, no, I don't want to try. I was like, why? Then she was on some, nah, I just don't want to. I remember looking at her, I was like, but now, like, I realized she did such a good thing for herself, like, by not even trying. It wouldn't have been that bad, but, like, rather not try than to try and, And also, yeah, I got to, there's many things I realized on the lean. It's like, firstly, the thing I was talking about, the numbers game. If you want something, you're going to have to attempt it many times. Like, Thomas Edison with the light bulb, 1,000 tries before he got it right. Like, I don't know if you realize how much 1,000 tries is. Also me, before I was able to get these 7 stores, maybe also 8, but also that wasn't reliable. I bought once or twice. Best believe I went to over 10, maybe 15 stores before I could find 7 reliable. Also, like, we use the example of girls, sisters. If you're looking for even just, I'm going to put it cornerly, to smash, if you approach 100 sisters, maybe 30, but 30 is an exaggeration, But like, yeah, the more no's you get, the more yeses. So that's what I've also realized, is like brothers who, it's like, I feel like also with business, with jobs, anything, like brothers who have a lot, they've went through a lot. Also with me, I'm on the journey now, like, of showing love, getting friends. So I won't lie, before all the friends I have now, like, I had to go through a lot of, heartbreak. People don't want to be friends. It's weird. But it's all part of it. Like, if it's something that you want, you're gonna have to go through the no's. But I won't lie, like, depending on your goal, it's beneficial, the numbers game. That's what, yeah, and also why I called it the numbers game. But there was a brother we had given a lift, me and Too Faded. Too Faded knows himself, but yeah, we gave him a lift. So he was on some, thanks for the lift, man. So I was like, then we were like, no stress. Then he was on some, yeah, it's just a numbers game, like you ask, but eventually one will say yes. Same thing I believe with brothers who are on the street asking for money. You can ask all day. There's gonna be one, And it relates to the Bible, Matthew 7, verse 7. Ask and you shall be given. Seek, you'll find. Knock, the door will be opened. Because those who keep asking will receive. So, like, yeah, I seeked, I found, I knocked, the doors opened, I asked, I received. So, like, principles, like, yeah, I also got from the lean. Also, yeah, one of the things, that's a testimony, I realized if you want something, you chase it. Like, I remember there was a day I had went, obviously, I got me the leans. I decided to chill in Brom. There's next to my school, there's a place where normally students sit, you smoke up, whatever you're doing. If you're drinking, it's like a safe space. It was as a safe space at the time, because it's quite a while since, what I'm saying, because yeah, I started college 2019, dropped out 2020 when COVID had hit. So back then, but yeah, so I was chilling. I had the lean with me, what I'm saying, more than one, sipping, smoking. I was alone. Yeah, then brothers came up to me, 2 brothers. They're like, oh, yo, they're like, can you if you have lean, can you sell us? But also, like, we've been looking for stores, or we're looking for places to find the lean. We haven't found the lean. And you know, like, I directed them. I was like, oh, but you can get lean here. But it made me realize, I was like, nah, the brothers weren't actually looking, because they were afraid. And I understand it, you know, because it's not right, you know, like. But yeah, they were afraid, because I looked and I found, and I knew that there were places still open where if they really searched, they could find. So if you really want something, guys, go for it and you'll get it. Yeah, besides that, all glory to God, you know, in a much better place. I haven't touched it for some time. Not sure the exact how long, like, I've been off. But you know, I feel it in my spirit. I'm never going back, you know. I have a long life ahead of me. Although I did damage, you know, by the grace of God. Blessings on blessings, you know. And yeah, in Revelation, there's a part, I don't know, it says, I'm not sure of the exact verse, but we overcome the devil, if I'm not wrong, by faith and our testimony. So I have overcome, guys. Yo, been sober for a minute now. Oh, glory to God. Signing out. Peace.